the WTF podcast, a show hosted by Austin Martin. You've come to the right place for self-improvement. Tune in weekly for new episodes covering topics from fitness, finances, frequencies, family, and friends. Learn, educate, and elevate yourself. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Here now is the host of the show, Austin Martin.
Hello, and welcome back to the What the F podcast. I am joined today by my beautiful girlfriend, Oriella.
He knows what to say.
I just want to make sure this... Yeah, it's recording. It's recording. But yeah, my beautiful girlfriend, Oriella, we wanted to talk today about reverse dieting, what reverse dieting is, and the mental barrier you face when reverse dieting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot to overcome. It feels like you're stuffing yourself. Feels like you're eating a lot.
Yeah.
The fear of gaining weight.
It's like a reverse psychological experience as well.
Yeah, like reverse dieting, reverse psychology.
Exactly. Whatever.
Yeah, but how about, well, I want to start off with you, Oriella. I want you to kind of tell the audience what you do, your background about, nutritional guide, what you did in school, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I am currently getting my master's in integrative and functional nutrition. I am also a certified integrative and functional health and wellness coach. I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. If you're wondering my certification, look it up.
Look it up. Real stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm getting my master's in integrative and functional nutrition. So basically the integrative part is integrating both conventional and complementary practices in medicine into the wellness and well-being of an individual.
And you take like a more holistic approach, would you say?
Yeah. So I'm very into the holistic approach. So that's the integrative part, is both combining the regular Western medicine that we know and taking the complementary parts of like acupuncture, yoga, meditation, all these different things that come into play of like the more holistic part. And that's like what I'm doing regarding like the nutrition.
And didn't you just get asked to be a speaker for like a mentorship program or?
Okay, you're hyping me up over here.
Well, explain what that is.
Trying to stay humble.
Give them a little brief overview. Of what that is.
Okay, so there's this really amazing women's program that basically finds a mentor for a mentee for someone who wants to progress and build their business. So it's called JVS SoCal. I'm sure, I don't know if they're just located in SoCal, but it's online. And basically I had a mentor for free, which was actually absolutely amazing.
What was her name?
Her name was Vanya.
Vanya.
Yeah,
Nice. She
was really, really awesome. So Vanya really helped me build and progress a lot in my business, just understanding a lot of that stuff. And then they also helped me get a grant to be able to pay for my own health and wellness coach, who basically it's really important to, when you want to get into any type of business, when you want to get into anything, you should also experience what it's like to be on the back end of it and not just try to like be the person doing it, but also experience what it's like to go through that as well. So they also helped me get a grant for that, and that helped change my life. So now I'm going to be a speaker for a guest speaker for to represent the company and basically.
But first, she's a guest speaker on the What the F podcast, so I got her first. I'm the.
Do you want my signature?
Yeah. Please,
okay.
Please. We'll take the autograph. We'll take the Polaroid with the autograph and put it on the bulletin.
Yeah.
So this episode, that's great. You're amazing. You know a lot about nutrition, holistic approach.
I wouldn't say a lot, but I know a
you're
good
still
amount.
learning. And
yes,
like
I know what I know, and that's what I know.
Yeah, we're constantly learning. We're constantly inspired by each other because we both have a desire to learn more about our fitness goals and like our health and nutrition. And I feel like that's what's connected us really too as individuals. Like we both met at the gym in a place where we're trying to improve ourselves and uplift ourselves, and we inspire each other. So we're on this journey together of reverse dieting. And first, we kind of want to explain throughout this whole episode what reverse dieting is. the mental barrier we're going to face.
Yeah, we've been facing already, yeah.
The fear of gaining weight, essentially, and then navigating the mental challenges, and just kind of offer some practical tips and tools of advice that we could give you guys. So what is reverse dieting? I guess we could start there.
Yeah.
Reverse dieting is basically the attempt to speed up your metabolism through a caloric surplus and by resistance training. So I guess most people say, I'm on a bulk, but that kind of has a negative implication because...
Well, yes. Bulking has that implication because people actually just want to gain weight,
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, keep going.
But you were hitting on the spot. I was just adding.
But yeah, no, I was just saying bulking is kind of like when you say, oh, I'm bulking, it kind of implies I could eat whatever. As in terms of a terminology, reverse dieting means hey, I'm still on a diet. I have intention with my goal to gain weight. I'm not just eating whatever in a surplus. I'm not trying to eat too much in a surplus because that's gonna result in body fat. And what reverse dieting's attempt is to do is to gain the most amount of muscle while minimizing the most amount of fat gain, the least amount of fat gain. So basically that's what reverse dieting is. And there's a lot of other benefits which we'll get into later in the podcast. But yeah, reverse dieting is very important, and to speed up your metabolic rate, and to kind of, I would say reverse dieting is for those who have been in a diet for way too long, feel fatigued, simply just want to gain more muscle or gain strength.
Or even just start balancing out their hormones. Just healing their metabolism, honestly. It has, it's really popular in the fitness world regarding bodybuilding. After competition, a lot of times they would just go ham and eat whatever and then gain so many pounds in such a short amount of time, which is really bad
because
for
they're
you.
at such a low caloric intake, and their metabolism has adapted to eating low calories and so much activity that you need to slowly reverse your way out of it to avoid the rapid weight gain. So,
and also what happens is when you gain a lot of weight really, really fast, your body starts to actually produce more fat cells. That makes it a lot harder to lose weight later down the road.
Yeah. I love that because I've heard that too in a couple.
Yeah, it's not like I was listening to Mind Pump.
I know, Mind Pump. Shout out Mind Pump.
Shout out Mind Pump.
But also, when you are dieting for too long, you have metabolic adaptation, which we touched on. Your body is so good at adapting that you could only lower your calories so much more until you start feeling fatigued, to where you as a female, you might miss your period if you're chronically undereating and overtraining. So reverse dieting really does help those areas. I know before we were on air, you had mentioned about the leptin levels. When you are in a caloric deficit, your leptin levels, I would say, decrease, right? Yeah, they decrease, which sends a signal for you're more hungry, and that could lead to overeating, chronic overeating. When you underfeed your body properly.
Well, what happens is you start getting leptin resistance. If you're way too overweight and you have too many leptin levels, you start receiving leptin. You become leptin resistant because your the receptors that receive the leptin. Basically, leptin is what tells your body that you're not hungry anymore. Yeah. And ghrelin, I hope I said it right, is what tells your body that you are hungry. And so what happens is the receptors are not able to receive the amount of leptin levels that's being sent to it, so it ends up shutting down a little bit, and then you have an overdose in leptin in a way. And it makes people continuously get hungry. And so it's a hormone, and just like any other hormones, when you're not eating enough food, then your body starts to shut down and starts shutting down parts of it that it doesn't need, so that it can survive in other ways. Yeah.
This is kind of like adaptive thermogenesis too.
Exactly.
Our bodies adapt, and they become more efficient at conserving energy. So when you are lower.
I mean, it affects your stress levels. It affects so many different
cortisol
things.
levels,
cortisol, and it's like if you are about to get attacked by a lion, your body is not going to need to digest its food. It's going to want to like survive in other types of ways. So
yeah, so that's, I mean, the further you're reducing the number of calories, the lower you're expending energy, like at a base rate. So the more you eat, you could get up your basal metabolic rate, which means you burn more calories at resting rate, which is ideally what you want to do. You want to be able to burn more calories while you're resting.
More muscles, more calories burned.
Yeah, more muscle, more calories burned because it speeds up your metabolism. So that's basically a little bit of the science behind what reverse dieting is. But let's talk about the mental barriers, because we all, I feel like, in a sense, have dealt with weight anxiety and like body image anxiety. And this could be due to societal pressures, the fashion industry, the music industry, advertising, Instagram. Yeah, they all promote thinness, except Lizzo's 10 McDonald's meal. We won't talk about that though. Like the challenge we saw on YouTube.
That was crazy.
Shaw Strength eating, like, I don't think that was actually her meal though. So
yeah, I was wondering. I was like, yeah. I don't believe it.
Yeah, you know how Bad Bunny and Travis Scott had the McDonald's meal? They're not just gonna say, oh, the Lizzo meal. It's 10 burgers, 10 fries. Like,
no, they were not doing Lizzo right. Honestly.
Yeah, I think they just made it up, but.
Or maybe it is. I mean, we can't speak until we know the facts.
Maybe, yeah, we don't know the facts potentially.
Either way, Lizzo, we support you.
Yeah, we support Lizzo regardless. But we are saying there is a societal pressure to be skinny. I mean, she's defeated 100%. That, and a lot of other people, it's plus models are now a thing. But even with like the society that we've grown up in, especially Los Angeles, there's such a heavy pressure to be thin, to be skinny, and there is a fear of anxiety around gaining weight through the mental challenges that we face. So did I already touch on body weight, like body dysmorphia? Like, me and you will both look in the mirror, and the second that we eat a little bit in a surplus, we're like, we fixate on like a little bit in our stomach area, or like we both, like, I know personally I gain weight in my face. Like,
I know you look so cute.
I'm Irish, Italian, whatever. Like, it all goes to my face. And you say you have a round face.
Yeah, it definitely goes to.
Yeah.
It definitely goes to my face. The way I see it first is my face. I got really blessed to be able to have like a slim, thick type of body where if I were to gain weight, my stomach, my core would still look pretty tight, but my arms would start looking bigger. My thighs, like
thighs are good though.
I mean, now I like it, but before, I mean, obviously we're gonna get on that, but yeah, it's. I started doing gua sha. Do you know what that is? Basically, because my face is starting to get bigger, like it's like this thing where it's like this stone where you start gouaching your face.
The marble with
and
the marble,
like,
and you freeze it, right?
Please start getting like slimmer, like
it deflates
don't
you, right?
show it. Yeah,
I used to freeze one of those. I don't even know, I had them a while ago.
Did you?
It's like the marble roller, right?
Yeah. There's different versions of it, but yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to like boxers and stuff. Like they get hit, they'll take the cold compress and like put it on their eyes to reduce the swelling and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's obviously some benefits to it, but that's not the point of this. Of this
well,
podcast.
those are a few mental barriers. There's also the diet culture. Like diet culture is such a big thing, and like many big cities, like they have so much they're promoting vegan, keto, whatever type of new diet there is, and also there's a sense of low self-esteem when you are overweight and you are gaining weight. It is kind of correlated. Like
100%. The minute you start gaining weight, I think even when you lose weight, I think just in any type of version of weight, if someone sees you and you look a little different, the first thing they're going to say to you is, oh, you look so good, you lost weight. Or, oh, you, like, your butt got bigger, you look nice. Or, like, it's so noticeable. It's so easy for someone to just casually say something to you that they don't even realize, like, what this person might be going through,
Yeah. Well, also some individuals fear weight gain due to, like, perceived health risk as well. Like, they avoid gaining weight in that sense. Like, maybe they don't want high cholesterol or diabetes, so there's that fear as well.
Oh, are you talking about like in reverse dieting when you start gaining a little bit of weight? People can be worried about that. But then if you're doing it for a healthy reason, then
well, that's the point of reverse dieting. Like, I'm just talking about mental challenges and weight gain in general.
Oh, I respect that. I like that you brought that up.
Not reverse dieting is, as we mentioned, it's very intent, and you do it with a purpose, but just gaining weight in general can
start triggering
emotional,
a lot of things that each person has grown up having their own belief of what being big is and what it does to you and why they're trying to avoid it or why they are trying to experience it. I mean, everybody has their own experience about it and their own perception of it. So yeah, it's definitely going to start bringing up
emotional
triggers, thoughts in your head. It's going to start bringing that up in other people in your life because everybody wants something for you, so they're going to start to treat you a certain way. I mean, for my own self, some people in my family who really love me, right? They see that I'm starting to get a little bit bigger. Bulky. And they're like, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah.
You have to convince yourself.
I have to convince myself 100%.
We know what's on
you.
We know it's on the other side, and we know it's not going to be like being in a reverse diet isn't going to be forever. Like, we will cut a little bit lower, but reverse dieting is the attempt to gain muscle. So ultimately, our metabolism will speed up, and when you have more muscle, you look leaner.
You just have to think about the end goal.
Yeah.
And you have to think about like your future self, like what you're building for, and you have to realize like 2 months of your life, 3 months of your life is such a short time for a long-term success.
Yeah.
Will Smith once said, "Forego immediate pleasure for long-term success."
Okay.
And I stand by that.
Facts. I like that. Quotes. On top of the mental barriers, there are. It's very hard, so navigating these mental challenges, you definitely need to build a strong support system around you, and you need to set realistic expectations. For example, I was around 175, 180. I'm not going to say, I want to bulk up to 220. I want to reverse, because that's so unrealistic. That's 40 pounds. Like, let me say I want to get to 190, and I'm going to give myself maybe 3 to 4 months to get up to that, and put on, a couple pounds per month. Some may be body fat, but if done right, the most amount will be muscle, So set realistic expectations, and surround yourself with a supportive system, and, focus on the non-scale victories.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So let's say we're speaking to someone who has a really hard time to even think, someone who sees 3 months as such a long time, right? What would you say to someone who wants to do reverse dieting, but is like, oh my God, for 3 months, I'm going to have to go through this? Like, how would you support them in that type of way?
So 3 months seems so unattainable, and it seems so far out. But once you break down those 3 months, I just did another episode on this, like, set small goals and be realistic in those small goals, because once you set, like, maybe you want to gain a couple pounds over a period of month, it seems so unrealistic. Like, all right, like this week I want to gain half a pound. Let me focus on eating a little bit in a surplus, and let me keep track of how much maybe I bench this. If I get stronger next week, that means I'm gaining muscle. So just set
being
small.
Able to see that.
Yeah, that's like, that's a small victory.
Yeah, you just read my mind.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, it's considered a non-scale victory, but it is something that could be measurable because
100%.
Your strength just went up, and it's a number.
Hitting new PRs. Hitting new PRs in the gym is so fun. But coming back to the whole social support thing, did I say it right?
Yeah, so a support system around.
Social support. I would say having someone like you help me through this, which is someone else who's also going through it, you know, it holds me accountable, it holds you accountable, but it also allows us to constantly be like, you're doing great, and telling each other, oh, like, this is what I need to hear today because I'm feeling really, really insecure and self-conscious. Can you just when you see me, can you just tell me how cute I am?
So building that support system around you, like letting your close friends, your family members know what you're going through, so they don't instantly like, oh, they're gaining weight. Like, you know, it's
like creating boundaries around the people in your life so that these boundaries are here to support you. I mean, if people really do support you, then if you really support yourself, then you're gonna know how to create those boundaries around your life. You're gonna show up for yourself.
And I mean, there's definitely tips that we have for maintaining, you know, resilience throughout this whole process. But if this process, I would say, does cause anxiety or like distress or any type of other disorder, I would like definitely seek professional help.
100%.
Whether that's, you know, going to therapy to discuss, maybe uncover why you have these. Maybe it's like trauma from when you're a kid, from being called fat or whatever it may be. Maybe you grew up with bad eating habits. Like, figure this out professionally through therapy or talking to someone who's licensed.
I really love that you brought this up because, in fact, reverse dieting is so beneficial because it opens doors to elevating yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's putting you through
through mental challenges.
To actually elevate your existence and rid you of these pasts.
You're going against society, what they want.
Yeah.
And, you know, you are, when you go through these obstacles and you face resilience and hardships, you come out 10 times stronger and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I really respect what you said. And, you know, going to therapy, when you find the right person who really is there to speak the same language as you, you're able to really grow so much and realize that your past is in the past. Like, and a lot of the things that helped you in the past might not be helping you now. So putting yourself through something like reverse dieting, doing something that's super out of your comfort zone, can start helping you unlock and discover more about yourself in such a positive way, and work on those things.
Challenge your negative thoughts internally too, because those are going to be brought up, and challenge those head on. Cultivate self-compassion. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, like
self-compassion and empathy.
Be kind to yourself. Know that the process you're going through there's an end goal, and there's an end goal. Yeah, there's an end goal. There's obstacles along the way.
If you really think about it, 3-4 months, however long you decide to do this reverse dieting, right? It is such a small time, and having an end goal makes you know that it's not forever.
Yeah.
And it helps you take a step out of like this crazy mindset of like, oh my God, I'm going through such a hard time experiencing this. But then you're able to also be like, oh, actually, I only have to go through this for another 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And then you end up once you step out of it, I mean, you did Hard 75.
Yeah, that was
insane. You went from like one lifestyle to a completely other type of lifestyle.
Drinking, you know, going out to not drinking. Not that I would eat bad, but I would eat late, and like I wouldn't eat all day when I was drinking, and my habits like completely changed. And now I really don't drink at all. I mean, I'll have like, yesterday I had whiskey. I had 1 shot of Bailey's in my coffee, but Monday Night Football, come on, baby. Like, it was one time. Listen, Linda.
It was a Monday.
No judgment. It's self-compassion.
I am not
That's what I'm
judging
talking about. It involves treating oneself with kindness, regardless of body shape or size.
Oh my God, baby. Anything you do is amazing, so I support you.
And also I would, you know, in this instance, I would limit exposure to triggers. For example, I really fucking like peanut butter. Like, I love peanut butter. And what do I have to do? Not buy peanut butter, because I will eat the whole fucking tub. If I'm like, oh, I'm reverse dieting, I'm on a bulk, mentally, oh, I could eat a little more. Like,
oh my God,
1 teaspoon. My teaspoon is not, a tablespoon is not your tablespoon. Like, I'm telling you, like, I go in on peanut butter. Like, there's been cases like I'd have old roommates and I'd like eat the whole tub of peanut butter. They're like, bro, I just bought that, and I couldn't even look at them in the face. I was so embarrassed.
Wow.
It was really difficult, but it's like you got to limit your exposure to those triggers, and you got to take accountability. Now that I'm a little bit older, I see what it is. And, you know, I'm not ashamed of my past, but I can only change who I am in the present and set myself up for a better self in the future. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to add right now that, you know how they say not to go grocery shopping hungry?
Oh, yeah.
When you reverse diet, you don't go grocery shopping hungry.
Yeah.
Like, I went grocery shopping today, but I knew that I just finished a workout and I needed to go grocery shopping, and I needed to also reach my calories and macros and whatever. So I had myself like a protein smoothie or shake that I was drinking on the way to grocery shopping and while I was grocery shopping. And I was passing like my favorite aisle, which is like the chips section, which I actually never actually like get anything, but I love looking at the I was window shopping. I was like, oh, that looks so good, whatever. And like, if I'm really hungry, I will always I know that I will grab something. It's usually those cheese crisps.
Yeah, cheese crisps.
You know what I mean? But then later I'll be like, why did I do that? And I can also find excuses like, oh, okay, but I haven't eaten today, or like this has this much protein and this has this and this and this. But it's like, I would have rather used those calories or macros to support myself through Whole Foods, or, you know, actually sitting down and being conscious while I ate.
With a meal that you like made and you enjoyed cooking and the whole process. Yeah, rather than something packaged and easy. So I like that idea. Like, but just like, when you are reverse dieting, you know, you don't, your body is properly fed, so you don't feel those leptin, like those cortisol, the leptin levels, like they're balanced, they're at the right level. So you're not overly hungry and you're not reaching for something that you normally wouldn't when you're satiated.
So that's like another way to like avoid triggers. It's actually like take care of yourself.
Feed your body properly. Now, I really enjoy going over like the mental barriers. There's definitely tips that we provided. The next thing I want to focus on is the positives of reverse dieting. Now, we have touched on this earlier, but it's the metabolic health improvement that reverse dieting does. So, building more muscle, you need to be in a surplus to build more muscle.
Yes. Muscles require a lot of energy. So, and calories are, each calorie is 1 unit of energy. So
I like that. So you get metabolic health improvement, and for those who have been on long calorie restriction, this means you get to eat more. You got to stop. Your mental has stopped from. You're trying to get comfortable. Yeah, she's over here looking like Yoda in a chair and shit, all crunched up and shit. But yeah, basically you get metabolic health improvement. You get increased energy levels because, like you said, 1 calorie is
1 energy unit. Yes,
energy unit. So the more calories you're eating, the more energy you have throughout the day. Do you want to talk about the improved hormonal balance a little bit more, like the menstrual cycle? You get your period more frequent when you are.
This is still my
without
first.
Going too deep into
this is still my first experience, my first menstrual cycle of reverse dieting. So I haven't gone through enough menstrual cycles to know how it is, to have enough facts for you with that. But from my research and from what I've been able to experience through the different phases, I typically have experienced really bad PMS, and PMS is premenstrual syndrome, where you get at least 1 to 2 symptoms of 200 plus different symptoms. But it can be really bad, where you get mood swings because your hormone is really imbalanced. You can get really bad cravings. You can get more emotional. You can get cramps. There's so many different things that I've experienced. Typically, you reach for more salty foods or sugary foods,
high in sodium,
or high in
sodium.
Exactly. You start having all these cravings, and those cravings typically do not support what your body needs. So eating whole foods and having like a really great processing metabolism, basically reverse dieting has shown me through my experience so far that my luteal phase has actually been a lot easier on me, and I've been able more enjoyable, and I've actually been able to hit PRs during my luteal phase, which typically they say like cycle syncing is
you're the weakest during that time.
Yeah, like cycle syncing is basically when you are working out, you're matching your workouts to what phase of your cycle you're in, right? And so I've actually been able to prove against that nice. You don't really have to cycle sync. I mean, I used to do that and I respect it. I still think it's a great idea, but you don't really have to do that. So I've been able to hit some PRs during my luteal phase, which is pretty cool.
There also is psychological benefits that come with reverse dieting because it reduces anxiety and fear related to food and caloric intake. It could promote, a healthier relationship with food and body image issues.
Do you mind elaborating on the anxiety part?
Yeah, because long-term weight management, you're at such a low calorie caloric intake that you feel like you got to keep up this diet forever just to look aesthetically good. But
to me, the word diet has the word die in it.
In it. But I also think you get personally improved athletic performance because you could use those calories to something, like a intense, grueling, hard workout, more carbohydrates, more energy, more protein. And there's psychological relief as well in terms of like the psychological benefits that come with it. Like you're relieved, like, my body's no longer deprived of nutrients. I don't have to do such an intense workout and think, like go to bed super hungry and starving, wake up in the middle of the night underfed, and then eat something bad. So there is that.
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, a lot of people have a lot of eating disorders, and I've experienced many different types of eating disorders, and I would say that all these different relationships I've had with food have all been to get to the point of looking thin and looking a certain way, and then actually showing up at the gym all the time, and now experiencing this reverse dieting. It's giving me what I want times more because I'm able to actually look and reach goals that I set for myself and actually look my best. Like, even though, we're both saying like, we've gained a little bit of weight in our face or whatever, at the end of the day, I'm gonna show up at the gym tomorrow and I'm gonna look and be like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. Like, I'm seeing the difference. So.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of relief, honestly. So
those are the improvements that come with it. But there's also like tips that we have, like set clear goals, set intentions, like how much weight do you want to gain? You're not just in a bulk forever. So set a clear goal with that in mind, like I want to focus on this lift, or I want to get stronger. You could even become more flexible in a reverse diet. There's different goals you could set in a reverse diet. You could even have a faster mile time in a reverse diet because you have more energy to run those miles. You're more fed throughout that run. So there's just so many like ways you could set clear goals while reverse dieting. I
just wanted to add, the reason why you're able to run faster and different things like that is because you actually are giving yourself the carbs that you need, which allows you to burn that energy, and it's giving your body what it needs. I mean, there's a lot of people who are able to work off of the natural energy that they have. Sometimes, many times we go to the gym, what's the word? We go to the gym fasted.
Yeah, fasted in the morning.
Yeah, fasted in the morning. But I mean, sometimes we also do go fed.
Yeah.
And have you been able to see a difference for yourself?
A little bit. I haven't done it long enough to notice, but yeah, I would say set clear goals and also like calculate your maintenance calories. You need to figure out where your maintenance is. So every day for a week, weigh in at the same time, and track what your calories is. Like maybe you're eating 2,500 calories and you weigh in at 125, and
it's definitely my maintenance right now.
And your weight doesn't go up or down. That's after the period of 7 days. If you feel like the scale hasn't moved, that's your maintenance. If you're eating 2,700 calories and you go up a little bit, then now you're in a little bit of a surplus, you know? So you need to do a gradual increase, and I would say around
definitely gradual at least every 1 week.
1 week to 2 weeks, you know, let your body adapt to that maintenance, like 250 to 500 calories in a surplus. Anything more may be a little bit too much. You might noticing the gain of body fat, but just focus on your macronutrients. Hit your protein intake.
Protein burns the most calories. I mean, most energy.
Protein burns the most energy, but if you're a 130 pound female, you want to aim for 130 pounds of 130 grams of protein.
Imagine 130 pounds.
If I'm 75 pound male and I want to be at 190 or 200 pounds of lean of muscle, I'm gonna want to feed up to 200 grams of protein around there. So focus on your macronutrients, keep track, use apps like MyFitnessPal.
It's definitely helped me. I mean, once I started tracking, it's definitely helped me. I actually find it really fun. Yeah. I'm not really obsessed with it, but I'm obsessed. I wouldn't say I'm like obsessed neurotically. I'm more obsessed in a way that it's really nice to be able to know what you're consuming and knowing how you're able to support your body and reach the goals that you want.
100%. And I think the last thing is just stay consistent, really. Just like with anything, just stay consistent. Keep the end vision and the end goal in mind. And like we had touched on, surround yourself with supportive people that have like-minded goals that support you along the way. And focus on progressive overload in the gym. Fucking lift heavy, do your damn thing.
I definitely want to add something to what you said. Many times we have a hard time allowing ourselves to transition into what we want to become, which means if I want to start becoming someone who works out, it's hard for me to be able to relate that and create that reality when I am not around other people who are working out. What is out of sight is out of mind, right? So you want to put people in your life who will support you and speak the same language as you. And maybe you're not that person right now, but you want to become that person. So you have to go hang out with those types of people. So, I mean, that's why it's been a lot easier for me to go through this reverse dieting or even just be someone who goes through programs at the gym and all these different things, because I set myself around these types of people who speak that same language. So it makes me feel like my reality is real. My reality exists. My reality is welcomed. Like it is allowed. Yeah. And so to work off what you just said, you should 100% surround yourself around the types of people that you want to be, because those people will activate that inside of you and bring that out of you, help you elevate to that part that you want to become.
I like that, Ed.
I love you.
Very good. Well, I think that's pretty much it for the episode. On that note, she killed it. If you want to, tell them where to find you. Is it the Ori's Aura page?
Yeah, Ori's, ORIS _Aura, AURA. I post fitness content on there, and my captions are very inspirational, even though I was told that nobody reads them.
She writes a goddamn fucking novel in the captions.
I read a whole novel. But you know what? Even if one person read it, that's all that matters. All that matters is that I'm here to shine my light and have other people inspire themselves.
I be reading them like this.
You don't even read them. You just
I just double tap.
And I'm like, babe, did you read what I wrote? And you're like, yeah. What'd you write?
But anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. Thank you so much, babe, for coming on. I know it was such a hassle for you to get over here, but
no, it's so cute. I love this little date that we have right here.
Yeah, it's cool. But this is the episode on reverse dieting, and stay tuned for more information about elevating yourself and self-improvement.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Of course.
You're looking so fine over there.